Good morning, YouTube. It appears we have reached the end of an era when it comes to Porsche.
Is it official, like for real, serious?
Apparently, because somebody has leaked a screenshot from the Porsche dealer portal that the Cayman and the Boxster, as we know it, are no more. They will be discontinued in 2025. Let me just read what it says here. End of production for all 982 models is currently planned for October 2025. So if you want a Boxster or Cayman, as you know it, order it now.
Right.
Because the next one is going to be all electric.
Did they say that though? They said the next iterations are all electric?
Well, they were wondering if they were going to do both, an electric one and a gasoline one, but it looks like they're not even going to bother. It looks like they're doing away with the internal combustion Boxster, which is the cheaper, I guess they call it the 918 or the Cayman or whatever. They're doing it away with it entirely, and it's going to be totally electric. So it is the end of an era of a vehicle that when it came out, it was pretty hated.
It was. It's not, I don't know, is it like a real Porsche though? Like for real?
That's what they say.
Okay.
So people would bag on the Boxster when it came out in the mid to late 90s as this cheap sort of hairdresser's Porsche. You know, Paris Hilton. I remember Paris Hilton like in her opening shot of her reality shows, because I watched a lot more of those reality shows than you, I think.
I did not watch
yeah,
Paris
her openings,
Hilton.
and she was in there with Nicole Richie or whatever, Lionel Richie's daughter. And it was in a Boxster. So yeah, it definitely had that reputation, but Porsche has always built a cheap, affordable car. It was just sort of a long run without it before the Boxster came out, because you had the 944, and then you had the 914 before it. Two great cheap Porsches. And the 911, once again, used to be somewhat affordable. I'm not sure for inflation, but nowadays it's a very expensive six-figure plus thing for the base model. It didn't used to be that way.
Right. Well, I get the evolution and where things are going for them to go electric, but to completely kill internal combustion, I don't know if that's a good idea, because a lot of the automakers said all electric by a certain date. Now they're all kind of backpedaling and pushing that year forward to when they're going to go all electric.
So the 911 will continue, I suppose, as a hybrid or whatever it's going to be. Who the heck knows? But then, yeah, what is the cheap Porsche for everybody, cheap sports car, is going to be electric, and I'm not sure how that's going to be received.
Right.
Because currently the new Boxster, the base price is around 70 grand, so, you know, 30-ish cheaper than a 911, and that's something that, you know, say a guy's worked hard their entire life and they're retiring, they want that one sports car, they've always wanted the Porsche, well, that, you know, that's within reach.
Right.
Are they going to want to do it when it's an electric car and it doesn't make those noises? And man, I don't know if it's a very good move for Porsche, honestly.
I will say, when the electric craze kind of first came out, I was totally against it. Even on Barrett Jackson, we would compare, you know, electric versus internal combustion, and I'd be just like, this is gross. Electric is wrong. It's an abomination. But after driving an electric car for, what, the past month, I have to say,
it does make life really easy, but do you want it in your fun toss-around sports car?
Right.
Like your enthusiast car, obviously, it might be your extra third car just for fun.
Right.
And to take on long touring trips, say, to Arkansas, to the Pig Trail. You have to drive 300 miles out there and then just drive in the winding roads and drive it back. I don't think so.
Right.
But the Boxster has always been a little bit of a, and the Cayman that continued with it, as far as the coupe version of it.
Like as bad as like the redheaded stepchild, would you call it?
So one issue, it is mid-engine, and with the Boxster and the Cayman, like you can't see that, you can't pop the hood and look at the engine. You have to take apart a bunch of paneling and things to get to it, to see it. They had the IMS bearings with the early ones, and then they had the cylinder scoring issues on another set of them. So there was a lot of years where there was like, you got to be careful and avoid certain years and models of this, and so it's kind of dangerous in that sense. And also, as they got cheaper and more affordable in depreciation in the used market, they were pretty ragged out and beat on, so a lot of dead ones out there as well. And then when you go to Porsche Club meets and you pull up in, you know, your really expensive Porsche or your cool classic air-cooled or whatever, and you're the one guy there with some other guy, and then it's like 50 Boxsters and, you know, boomers with gray hair and, you know, like just...
I did recently see, did you see it? There's kind of this viral Porsche video of the look of different types of Porsche owners and how they present themselves versus, you know, all different kind of classes and ranks and how they dressed and how cool they were. And the Boxster, they were kind of.
Well,
like
yeah,
you're
because the air-cooled
talking
guys are
about.
trying to be like Magnus Walker a lot of the times, you know, where
Right.
he's kind of trendy and dreads and all that stuff. And like our friend Leonard, I feel like, who's an air-cooled guy, he leans a little bit towards that Magnus Walker
Right.
look. Yeah,
Let's say you're crazy and you LS swap a Porsche. What kind of guy does that, would you say, perhaps?
I regret it. That's the thing. My Porsche motor exploded 243,000 miles on my 911 on a Boxster. Twice the IMS bearing was changed. That didn't stop it because this idiot drove it on the track and overheated the oil. Yeah, the LS swap was not the brightest idea.
No.
But the next time around, I was going to EV swap a 79 911 SC, my red Porsche Targa that I sold recently. And when I heard that Porsche engine run, the cat hair just makes me want to itch my nose all the time. This cat, what are we doing with cats?
Gentle.
I don't.
Look at babies. She's going to multiply.
That just makes my nose itch all the time. But anyway.
Hi, Felix.
Not a cat person. When I heard that Porsche motor run,
Right.
and it had been sitting for 20 years, and was smoking, clearly messed up, needed a rebuild, but just hearing that old air-cooled engine, I was like, I know I can't EV swap this thing, which was the original plan, where it's really easy to do on Porsches as far as fitting it all in there, but I won't, I can't get on board with this one. No, I am fine with the Lyric and sort of a daily driver around 10 and all that stuff, but an enthusiast, toss around, touring car, track car, like something you want to try. Like, how long is an EV going to last on the track?
That's true, but they're going to be crazy fast.
Oh, it'll be incredible. But then, yay, I get to go for 30 minutes and then I'm plugging in.
Right.
You know, I'm flat out, maybe 30, 45 minutes tops, and then you're plugging in to recharge for an hour. I don't know, but I'm an old man, I
Can
guess.
I tell you that I had a weird dream the other night? So you've had the 1987 Grand National at Wizards for like a really, really long time.
Yes.
Like a really long time.
Yes. Here, the cat's in your
And
shot. Get down.
That's normally my daily driver, right? And I had a dream that you were secretly swapping it out for an EV. Is that a thing? Is that happening?
No.
Like, I need proof of life.
No, you don't need to worry about that.
It's been there for what are you doing to it?
No, I know how you would react. But yes, it is just a matter of getting once the T-tops, you tore into all that stuff.
Right.
Took off the brackets, there was a lot of rust in there.
Okay.
It was really bad. There's a lot of water trapped in things. And then just getting all that done properly and then getting all of it sealed, it takes time.
Just so you know, I'll be really upset.
Don't worry. She'll be back soon.
I'm really upset. Okay. All right.
Have you been in the new Taycan, though?
No.
They're sort of four-door looking. It is really cool.
Right.
They got knocked a lot because their range, EPA rated, was atrocious. For a $100,000 car, and you had a range of 200 miles, and then the performance was the same as the Plaid. But you drove it, and it was definitely a world above the Tesla Model S.
Okay.
As far as the fit and finish, as far as the feel of the car, as far as it being driver's focused and like a really incredible machine to drive that I get it, but at the same time, something you're going to drive really hard and aggressively, the range is not going to be there on top of that. So it's
How is the price point?
Expensive, really expensive. And they even did a wagon version that is so cool looking. It's just so cool. Like my watch that I keep banging against the table that you gave me. It is so neat. It's neat, but I don't think people are buying them.
Right.
I don't think they're selling in mass, and it's certainly not something that I would say, hey, let's replace this totally and do away with their twin-turbo V6s, V8s, well, flat 6s. Or the other part about this is I feel like I'm falling so far behind. You know, as far as being a car guy and having to keep up on all of this, like, the world's gonna pass me by, and I'm not gonna know what motor that thing has or what's going on with this thing, and I may not even know what the heck the things are called. Like BMWs, I've given up. So what 4, 5, 6, 7, like the numbers, they make sense anymore.
Right. So now that they're kind of going away with the old school and introducing electric, do you think there's one Porsche that you should hold on to for when that happens? It'll kind of be like, not the holy grail, but, you know, right before it went to EV. Like, this is the old school one you want to hold on to.
Everybody has one of those, I think. there's every single class of Porsche enthusiast that thinks it's a 356 or thinks it's the pre-impact bumper 911s, or they think it's the 930 turbo, the wide body, or they even now think, well, it's before Porsche made turbos standard, or the PDK became mandatory on the turbos and Turbo S's. So there's no right answer.
Right.
I do feel like the 997.2 Turbo and Turbo S, which is the most modern Porsche turbo model that had a manual transmission, that's a good one. But the prices are already, forget about it. But I do feel like it'll continue like with the 993, which is the last air-cooled turbo that has got shot into the stratosphere, like $1 million for one of those with no miles on it, which is stupid. But it's the world we live in.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not much of a Porsche fan, though.
No, I love Porsche. It's just that where I grew up, like all the really, really rich, entitled people had Porsches, and so that stuck with me, and I had a chip on my shoulder probably, and I'm like, oh, you think you're better than me because you have a Porsche? And that like kind of sat with me a little bit, but I love Porsche, obviously, and raced with, well, I didn't race, but working for WeatherTech, they drove Porsche for, I think, a year or two, and traveling the IMSA circuit with them, and they're great cars, and I have nothing against them, but just growing up, I did have a little chip on my shoulder about the people that drove them.
I see.
Which is not fair, obviously.
How dare you?
Stereotyping.
Well, now they'll be EV saving the planet, sniffing their own farts, and entitled on top of that.
Why are they sniffing their own farts?
That's an old joke from South Park with the Priuses, where like the Prius people love their cars so much, they're just so proud of themselves that they just love to smell their own farts. They just, yeah. This is an old joke, but yeah. Thank you so much for watching.
Oh my gosh.